Unafraid Show, Reister or Wrong. It's your boy George Reister here. Got my man, current NFL and college football analyst for ESPN, Kirk Morrison here. The original number 52 for the Oakland Raiders. So before you even heard of this kid now, what's kid now? Khalil Mack or whatever his name is.
He's KM52 the second. I'm
Yeah.
KM52 the first.
Yeah. He's supposed to be good. He's like a defensive player of the year or something. But who's counting? Thank you guys for joining us. You know, Unafraid, we bring the truth, we bring the heat, and it's always unafraid. We got a couple really good things for you guys up today. But first of all, please make sure that you send in your comments, email unafraidshow@gmail.com, share the feed, like the feed, continue the conversation. We've got a couple really good things up for you guys today, like the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders are leaving Oakland, and they're coming to where we are right now in Las Vegas. We're here for the NFL players and former players convention, and also Oakland is making a big comeback in the movies. This is where this man is from.
Yes,
Drafted by Oakland. We're going to talk about that as well. Grayson Allen, Tiger Woods, dirty play in sports, and how you should actually deal with that. But where we're going to start, Kirk, we're going to start with you. We're going to start with you. So you are from Oakland.
Yeah, born and raised.
You went to what, O'Day High School?
Bishop O'Dowd.
Yeah, Oh, sorry, O'Dowd.
Some respect on it.
Listen, man. The only high school you know about coming out of the Bay Area or anywhere like that is De La Salle. Were y'all any good?
Yeah, we were right next to De La Salle. So it was De La Salle, Bishop O'Dowd. They were, obviously the more dominant team. Everybody's most known from their football team. But for me, we were right there with them. And we're still trying to gain some more of that traction. But Bishop O'Dowd, man, you better put some respect on him.
Okay, how many pros do y'all have out of there?
How many pros?
Yeah.
Wow, I would say maybe got about at least 8 or 9 pros. Got a couple Super Bowl winners as well. Yeah. So,
all right. So you grew up in Oakland. How was that? You got drafted by the Oakland Raiders, man.
Man, it was a surreal feeling. And any time that I really think back on it, when I first found out I was going to be drafted by the Raiders, my football life flashed before my eyes.
Yeah.
For real. I grew up as not just a football player in high school, Pop Warner. I grew up a Raider fan first.
Yeah.
So I went to the games as a fan. My dad was season ticket holder. So it was crazy to watch myself, as a fan, watch the guys down there. And just people always say, man, one day, hopefully. And my dad kept saying it, man, you're going to play for the Raiders one day. I was like,
so your dad was LeVar Ball before LeVar Ball.
Yeah, it was sort of. He was Raider Dave. See, my dad was just a big Raider fan. He said, what would it be for you to play in Oakland? I said, man, we'll see. Because I never even imagined playing in the NFL. But then I got drafted to the Raiders, and
how didn't you imagine playing in the NFL? You're 2-time defensive player of the year in the Mountain West, but you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it in the NFL or not.
But I think sometimes until you actually see that paper, till you sign that dotted line.
Yeah, that's when it becomes real.
It becomes real.
Yeah.
And you can always imagine, you can hope. But for me, realistically, I was just about, I got getting my college education, having fun with my friends and doing all that. So I was excited. I'm like, dude, I am going to have fun in college, go to school, play football, and all of a sudden NFL knocks on the door. It's the Raiders. And I'm like, nah, it couldn't be. And boom, it happened. And honestly, it was probably the best thing that happened for me in terms of my career, because I think you can attest to this as well. When you get to the NFL or a new job or anything, the first thing you think of is, man, how I'm going to get to work, where I'm going to live at, how's my social life going to be.
Yeah. And you already knew what was up.
So when I came to Oakland, I had to just worry about football.
Yeah.
I was living with moms, going still to the old mom and pop shops just to eat at when I was in high school. When I didn't have,
man, so that's like a comfort zone.
It was a comfort zone, man.
So for me, I grew up in Cali, around LA area, went to Oregon, then went all the way to Jacksonville.
Exactly.
I mean, it was like, I don't know nobody around here.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I got traded in 2010 from the Raiders to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And so I can only imagine what you went through, because you went through it at a younger age, where I was 5 years into the NFL, and I felt like I had
a grown-ass man already.
But I had to restart my whole life, because that was my first time outside of California.
Oh,
my whole entire life.
Yeah.
I had
So
lived
from the Bay to San Diego State.
Yes,
to Oakland.
And then all of a sudden, here I am, 28 years old. Here's what the other part of the country, all the way on the other side.
All the way on the other side, the humidity, everything.
But you're going to Florida, though. You're going to be in Florida.
Nah, listen, Jacksonville ain't Miami.
It ain't Tampa,
not Miami.
It ain't Orlando. It's totally different, man.
So you go to Oakland, grew up a Raider fan, all that. Were you heartbroken when you found out that the Raiders were leaving Oakland, going to Las Vegas?
You know what? I was a little heartbroken, but I think I was more so heartbroken for my dad and for people in Oakland who really, really love the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like I said, my dad more so for anything because, my dad is the biggest Raider fan that you know. And some of my greatest childhood memories are knowing me and my dad on Sundays, we were down at the Oakland Coliseum.
Yeah.
Watching Raider football.
Oh, man.
And that's what his place. Even when I was, going away at college, I couldn't make some games. I knew where my dad was every Sunday.
Yeah.
Straight up.
In the Oakland Coliseum.
Even to this day.
Yeah.
Sunday, he's either at the game or he is watching Raider football.
So how is he taking it as a lifelong Raider fan? Yeah. The fact that Oakland's moving to Las Vegas, like, is the community hurt? Like, or are they like, it's not too far, it's Vegas, we can make it there?
Yeah, I think it's kind of twofold. I think the one thing is that the people, the community, they don't want to see the Raiders leave.
Yeah.
The Raiders are Oakland's team.
Yeah.
They started in Oakland. Remember, they went to L.A., though.
Yeah, and they came back home. Yeah.
They left L.A. to come to Oakland. And so I really believe now, and just being around a lot of the people who make those decisions with the Raiders and what they're building in Las Vegas, I think I understand it more on the business side.
Yeah.
Me and you both
understand. Yeah. It's a business.
It's
a business move. And it's funny because, like, you can't take people's personal feelings into account when you're dealing with your money.
Correct.
And they couldn't get a new stadium in Oakland.
No.
And that obviously the ideal thing would have been to stay in Oakland, but like you gotta leave. You've been at Fox, ESPN, Sirius, all that stuff. When the best if an opportunity comes up, that's great for you personally. Everybody around you professionally knows, hey, yo, you got to do what you got to do because they not going to pay your taxes. They not going like nobody else is going to pay that mortgage for you. Kirk got to find a way to get it done. But the city of Oakland, though.
Right.
So here's what I knew about the city of Oakland. I trained out there in the Bay when I was coming out in the draft in Alameda with Thomas and them cats. Yeah. And the thing I remember most about it is, like, Oakland's kind of rough, all right? Oh, yeah. Oakland's kind of
easy out
there. Yeah, it's a bunch of Marshawn Lynches running around there. And so it gets a bad rap, but now in the movies, though, the movies, we're seeing a lot of positive images of Oakland. One, in fact, is we see it in Black Panther.
Yes.
Ryan Coogler, he directed the movie.
Correct.
How was that for you? Because you told me that you know this man.
Well, first of all, just for Ryan Coogler and the whole everyone that's associated with Black Panther, the thing is, Ryan went to another high school, sort of a rival high school to mine. So there's De La Salle, there's Bishop O'Dowd, there's also St. Mary's High School, and that's where he went. And so I met Ryan when he played on the same football team as my brother.
Okay.
They went to St. Mary's College. Everybody knows him more for the basketball program.
But competing against
Gonzaga and all that. Yeah. So, but now they had a football team there, and that's where guys in the Bay Area, they would play there. It was they would give them scholarships, everything. And 2 years into it, well, for my brother, their football program folded.
All right.
And so when the football team folded, my brother transferred, to Coastal Carolina. Ryan Coogler ended up going to Sacramento State to continue to play football.
Okay.
But he started, writing films and doing things. He's learned that at St. Mary's College. And it was crazy to think I'm watching this kid play football.
Yeah.
He was a wide receiver, pretty good too. play wide receiver. He got game too. So it's not like he's just not. You know, people always say like, is he an athlete or how do you know? He was an athlete. He played professional. I mean, he played collegiate sports.
Yeah.
And then moved on to find another avenue. So I think it's guys like him and guys who I've known in the Bay Area that we do have a sense of pride of Oakland.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to always be like, oh, Bay Area. Oh,
it's town business.
It's always going to be town business, but there's also a side of town business that I think people don't get a chance to see.
All right. Well, and so and when you look at Ryan Coogler, like,
right.
He directed Fruitvale Station.
Yes.
Then he directed Creed, which is a Rocky spinoff.
Yeah.
And then to go to Black Panther, a
yes.
billion-dollar movie,
right.
31 years old.
Right.
I mean, so he had his dream. Like, he thought that he was going to be a football player,
right.
all of this stuff. And then it turns out, no, slow down, buddy. We got other plans
right.
for you. And it's amazing how your life can take a different turn.
Right.
Than you thought it was going to take, and it be beneficial for you. You just got to be able to roll with the punches. Speaking of rolling with the punches, though, we got the video. So everybody knows Grayson Allen,
right,
that plays for Duke.
Yes,
dirty player.
Yeah.
Here was my quote from this video. I'll show you the video, show you guys the video, and then I will tell you guys my quote from this.
The Carolina ball.
So here's the video.
Looked like a hit.
And what I said is,
pull-up jumper, Kenny Williams to extend the lead.
Who's ever played against Grayson Allen.
Down, a little bit
slow
to get up.
Nobody has punched him in the face is commendable. Like you have to give credit for guys, and people say, "Oh, that's not that big a deal."
There in your mind,
but it is a big deal when you consider his history and his body of work. Like, his body of work says he's a dirty player, and look at that face. Like, he's got a face you want to punch him in the face. Like he does not have a very likable face.
I mean, he's a guy that's just scrappy, and if I'm going up against him. I think before the game start, I go up to him and say, "Hey, look, I'm not with the bull. Like, we gonna play this straight up. We gonna play this like men.
Yeah.
If you want to take this to the street, we can take it to the street. But just best believe you do something that's gonna hurt my family or affect my draft status or affect how I make a living.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a problem, and we're not gonna handle it. This basketball stuff is for the fans. We talking about real life. So you gotta come. You gotta actually see. There's some people who don't understand that. They come in and, basketball now, everybody, let's dap it up. Like, what's up, man? Good to see you. No, I'm going to literally, before the game start, I'm going to let him know.
We're going to have a conversation.
And then on top of that, I'm going to tell the referee that, look, it's your job to handle it, because if he step out of line, I'm going to knock him out, but then I'm going to tell him that I had warned you first.
Yep.
So now you putting everybody on notice, because I think that's another thing. No one's putting him on notice.
Yeah, they just letting it ride,
man,
and that's the part that is so troubling to me. Is I'm like, do you see what this dude did? Bruh. That's why I applaud every single player who's not punched him in the face, but I mean, he would take an elbow, he gonna get tripped, like something has to happen.
You gotta understand, as much of a Hall of Fame coach Mike Krzyzewski is, if I'm a player, if I'm on North Carolina, or I'm a player in this tournament, hey coach, before the game starts, coach, he come at me, he do something crazy, I'm going to knock his ass out, and I'm going to let you know about it too. Yeah. Because, first of all, he's a reflection of you. Yeah. So you keep putting that on the court.
And that's the thing is Coach K. Yeah. I mean, like, how does he continuously allow this to happen? Because I'm like, you're such an icon, you're a legend, you're a mentor. Like, he reached his poem called "If" by Kipling to his players, which is great. And you're just sitting there like, you're allowing this. Right. And then I think, okay, like, is there a chance that Coach K like sees that this, because I look at what Grayson Allen is doing, I'm like, this is a cry for help. Like, it's a cry for help. Like, this kid has to be in therapy. He's got to, because I feel like it's irresponsible if he's not.
And the thing is, it's I can understand if there's things that you did to get under players' skin, though. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was a big Dennis Rodman fan. I like watching Rodman.
Yeah.
But you knew he was doing things to get under your skin.
As opposed to actively trying to hurt you. Yeah.
That wasn't a deliberate act of hurting, tripping, falling, kicking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where you draw the line with Grayson Allen.
Yeah. So
and that's where I'm upset.
So you go with dirty and not hard-nosed.
Yeah. Because there's one thing, you say, oh, man, he's a scrappy player. I get all of those characteristics, but that's not – to me, he's a good basketball player. But when he does those things –
it takes away from who he is.
And he has lapses.
Yep.
You know, and the thing is, like, look, I don't know him off the court.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to label him what he is off the court. Because off the court, he could be the greatest
But
kid, all that. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
but no.
I'm saying that.
If you do certain things
once you step onto that court, he's a different person.
It's a character. Like, it's
character
part of your character.
Right. And I think that's one thing that I always have to remember that. Because I know for myself, I was a different character. There was language that I had on the football field that
you would not use.
I'm like, man, that was me. Wow, because I'm in a different realm.
Yeah.
I think that same thing for him. He takes on a different role, a villain role.
What would you say? Okay, here's the question: is if Grayson Allen was your kid and he did the stuff on the court that you see, how would you respond to him as a parent?
First of all, I would tell him, "Why are you doing this?" That's the first thing. Why?
Yeah.
Do you need an advantage, or why would you do that? You know, and say, "Oh man, Dad, I accidentally, or I just." Something came over me, and I'm gonna say,
it's only so many times that it's an accident,
right? And I'm just saying, like, it's the same thing. You are going to find someone who is going to hit you and hit you very hard,
and you're going to deserve it.
And you can't come running to me to help me out.
Yeah,
it's like this is something that you've done.
You're your own JoJo.
Basically, I mean, honestly, that's what you have to tell them.
Yeah.
Though. That's how you got to treat them like that.
Yeah. Oh, and the last thing on Grayson Allen is, isn't it amazing how much he looks like Ted Cruz?
Yeah, man. Every time I see that Ted Cruz comparison.
Dude, this is, I mean, they both have faces that are just not lovable. And also, Grayson Allen is having an impact on high school players as well, because here is the actual, here's what happened in a Kansas high school basketball game. Right. Grayson Allen's done some dirty stuff, and this kid was like, wait, hold up. Hold my beer. I'll show you. I'll show you this. Going up for a dunk and pushes him into the back. It was just inconceivable to me how the game was able to finish.
First of all, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I thought that he was going so fast that he held onto the rim and
slipped
let
off
it go
or
and
something.
Slipped off and fell.
Yeah.
Then when they replayed it again, he got pushed.
Oh, yeah.
And then I didn't see him get up. I just saw the ending part where he's on the ground. And everything has happened. I saw the referee call it technical. So digging into it a little bit more research, they just awarded a technical foul.
Yes.
That wasn't a flagrant. That it was the most crazy. That he should have been kicked out of that basketball game. Like, personal. I mean, just all things aside, all BS aside, that was the dirtiest basketball play I have
ever seen. And I couldn't imagine the part that like freaked me out so much is I'm sitting there like, nobody came out of the crowd. So I know if that were me and that were either my son or that were actually me on the court, my family would have been, family, friends, and teammates would have been on the court rushing this kid. There's no way he makes it out.
First of all, I mean, whoever the referees, they should be reprimanded. They should never be able to do high school basketball games ever again. That play right there, he should have been kicked out, number one. And then the second thing is, too, I looked in the crowd. I'm just saying the crowd didn't look like an urban crowd at all. Because I tell you this, at that basketball play happened in Oakland, California, where I'm from.
Man,
that player is not allowed out of the gym.
He might have actually been murdered.
It's close the doors.
Yeah,
close the doors. You know what I mean? I just know the way because the only thing is, we're not talking about wins and losses. We're not talking about basketball. We're talking about that man could have injured him for life
or killed him.
Like that is a serious thing. That it's he didn't mean it. No, that type of play should never happen just because that could have injured him, could have broken his leg. You don't know what that man got going on.
100%. And I blame it on Grayson Allen. Allen. But there was some positive news over the weekend, though. Some very positive news. The man that we both love and care about, Tiger Woods, is back, boy. I was watching golf on the weekend again. Yes, I haven't watched golf on the weekend in years.
Yeah.
I started watching golf because of Tiger Woods, and now I'm back watching golf because of Tiger Woods.
Well, I mean, for me, I always care about, does he make the cut?
Yep.
Friday, he made the cut. Saturday, he played well. And then on Sunday, I'm like, okay, what time does he tee off?
Yep.
And I saw that. Okay,
I was 1:50
p.m. Eastern time. I'm like, yeah. I got that going. I got the Warriors at 12:30. So I had to do some, some last channel flips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to keep pressing that button. You know what I mean? And just to seeing Tiger Woods in that red and that black hat and seeing him in contention.
Oh, and him
it just makes Sunday feel different.
Making a birdie on 17 with a chance to win it on 18.
It just felt different, didn't it?
Yeah, and it's funny because these announcers and all these other people, they'll try to sell you on the fact that no, golf is great because there's all these young people playing. No, golf is great because Tiger's playing.
Yes.
And you were talking about the ratings.
The ratings, yes.
It was like what was the highest rated golf event since Tiger had been good.
I think it's the highest rated non-Masters golf event since 2013.
Since Tiger, since the last time Tiger Woods won.
The highest rated event since 2013.
Man, it is
Masters.
Insane.
So remember, this is a non-major too. Like majors, people we focus in. Golf comes down to the 4 majors.
Yeah.
It's, Masters, the PGA Open,
the British Open,
and the U.S. Open.
Yep.
But this was a non-major. But it was Tiger in contention.
It was the Bay Hill Invitational, and then I had to look up where Bay Hill was.
Oh, yeah, no, Bay Hill's this week. Bay Hill, this is Valspar.
Oh, yeah.
Valspar was this week.
Valspar. I was like, I was like, this is a paint open.
I didn't know what. I
didn't know where it was. I was like, Valspar is paint.
Valspar got their money's worth.
Yeah, they did.
Because I didn't know what. I thought it was like a prescription drug. I didn't know
like
Viagra. Like
That's a good point.
I was asking my wife, like, what is Valspar? And then I realized, it's a paint company.
Yeah.
Didn't even know. So now,
my God.
Here I go. If I have to do some painting around the house, I may go do some painting because I know I can use Valspar paint.
Yeah, you like.
And that's all because of Tiger Woods. But that's what happened. The next week is Bay Hill, which is the Arnold Palmer course, and that's one of the things that now that's why I can watch it next week now.
Oh yeah,
Tiger's won. So now I'm going to watch probably from beginning to end now, from watching him on Thursday and Friday. Because Tiger was back and all right. Now all of a sudden, oh no, he's in contention. That changes your whole Sunday.
Oh my God! And people say, oh, you guys just care about Tiger Woods because he's black. Yes, that is why I care about Tiger Woods, because he's black and he's great. Because he got me to start playing golf.
Right.
I didn't watch golf as a kid. Like I didn't watch golf like growing up. Didn't even play golf. I started playing golf when I was 25 because of Tiger Woods. And think about it. The guy who finished second, who finished tied for second, Reed.
Right.
He wears black and red. White guy says that he wears black and red on Sundays because he watched Tiger.
Right.
So it's not just people like Tiger because he's black people watch Tiger because he's black. No, everybody watches Tiger because Tiger's dope.
Well, it's like, remember when we all wanted to be kids and play basketball, we all wanted to wear 23.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
We all wanted to wear 23 because of who? Because of Michael Jordan. And we wore 23 because we felt like we can get some of those Jordan powers. So people were asking, oh, is that kind of douchey for a guy to be wearing like Tiger? Like, no. He's trying to do the same thing I would. You know what I mean? Hey, I want to wear, as a linebacker, I want to wear 52 to be like Ray Lewis. I wanted some of them powers.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
What was your favorite Gatorade flavor? Speaking of Michael Jordan.
My favorite. It had to be red.
No, mine was Citrus Cooler because I found out that Citrus Cooler was Michael Jordan's favorite flavor.
But that was only 2 flavors though. So you had the Citrus Cooler and you had the red. It was only like 2 flavors of Gatorade.
Yeah, but but then they expanded to.
Have you ever had Gatorade in a can?
Yes, yes.
People understand that's the best Gatorade. Gatorade in a can.
Yep. Man, so I'm so happy that Tiger's back. All of this stuff. But to move on for a second to college sports.
Right.
So you're following the tournament. Brackets just came out. Your San Diego State Aztecs
12 seed.
Oh man, don't nobody care, man.
12 versus 5, man. They play against Houston, so I think that's a little fair. No, they're 11 seeds, so they're 11 versus 6. So that's a favorable matchup.
So how do you feel about these college basketball players and potentially football players being paid? Do you think that the athletes should be paid? Do you believe in the myth that is amateurism?
I mean, people are going to be upset, but I think college athletes don't need to be paid.
What?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, just me personally, but the way the system is set up.
Okay, tell me more.
The way the system is set up, I don't think that the athletes can be paid. The way the system is set up.
Okay.
I think we all look at the numbers that the NCAA brings in.
Okay.
And we're like, oh, they should be able to pay them. But we're talking about if you pay the lawsuits that the NCAA will get is what happens, because now you're saying if you pay the football team because of Title IX as well, you got to pay the women's lacrosse team, the women's track team, the men's baseball team, the basketball team. And we know that a lot of those programs are ran and funneled through football.
There's really only two.
Are we only paying certain athletes, or are we going to pay them? I've been in those discussions with people in the athletic department, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, we got to play these certain games for us to have or secure our budget for the year. It sounds good when you're the bigger universities that can go out, like Ohio State, and bring in $163 million in revenue.
Yeah.
That's different. And they said, well, the NCAA should pay them. Well, yeah, but how are they going to fund everybody else?
Okay, so
I think that, look, the system, as much as people say players should be paid, I still think that the system is, no matter what, going to be flawed. And then people say, well, what about the scholarships? And think about this. My wife had student loans, okay?
Okay.
And we know what student loans are.
Yeah.
To get an athletic scholarship, that is a scholarship for 4 or 5 years to get your degree.
Okay.
I know what the investment is.
Yep.
Your investment is in the education and everything they give you. Now, that is, depending on what university you go to, sometimes that's $250,000 investment that they're having you. So this is what they're saying. This is for you. And now, the one thing that I would say in terms of paying players, I don't know if there should be paying players, but I would say that any revenue generated from my name should be put in a trust, and I should be able to receive that after I graduate college.
Okay, so
that's the part that
now
I'm
we're
saying.
talking sensible.
That's the part.
Kirk.
See, now I can talk sensible, but being paid to play, now we're talking about business. That's where I draw the line. But I say that players should be paid once they are released or they turn pro or whatever it be, but the money that they have gained or monetized under their likeness or their name or their jersey sale or this should be put into a fund that, hey, when it's over, my check is cash. NFL, same thing.
See,
I am the NFL, boom, you get a check, see you later, that's it.
I'm all with that in terms. So we're talking about college athletes being paid, whether they should or shouldn't. Kirk doesn't necessarily believe that they should be paid.
Right.
He thinks that any money that is generated off their likeness or image that should be set aside for them on some level. Because I don't believe in the myth that is amateurism, because I don't believe that these are amateur athletes when they are generating so much money. The coaches are getting paid, and then there's so many restrictions. So I call it sweatshop labor.
But see, we're only talking about what programs? I mean, or what sports?
Yeah, football and basketball.
Right. So are we saying football, basketball, and then everybody else is?
No. So
that's my only thing is that.
So look,
because we know women's lacrosse is not going to generate the same thing as the football program.
No, there are only two revenue-generating sports on most campuses. That's football and basketball, and in some places like UConn, Tennessee, South Carolina, and a couple other places that the women's teams make money and fund themselves as well.
So shouldn't they be able to receive the same amount of compensation as the football?
So look, here is my idea for paying players. Okay, is that and my way takes no money out of the school's already pot, right?
Right.
So, because I think that it's wrong when coaches have flexibility to leave, players can't transfer, all of that stuff, and everybody else is making money and getting rich except for the players. Because in life, you have a finite amount of time where you are going to have your highest earning potential in life. Sometimes people's highest earning potential is in their happens to be when they're 18 to 22.
Right.
Some people's is when they're 55 to 65. Whatever it is. And when you look at a player like Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama, imagine how much revenue, like how much he was worth after the national championship.
Right.
So my model is this: is you don't have to take any money out of the schools already, what the school's already generating. So any money traded off their name should be put in an annuity or a trust or something upon graduation that they are able to receive, because then it helps graduation rates, helps with players get their education, that whole deal.
And you have something when you leave.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I would like is that there are other ways to generate money. So if schools did signings, like if Alabama did a signing after the national championship, a school sponsor signing, everybody who comes in pays a certain amount, and then that money is split. And then you also allow other sports to be able to do those things as well. So they have opportunities to generate money and generate revenue. They can do YouTube videos which generate money that are not associated, which don't take money out of the athletic department's pot. So there are a number of.
But then you look at still, it's, you know, a certain sport is not going to be able to make as much as another sport, and now you have.
This is life, bro.
Yeah, this
but thing is, this is life. I mean, this is a free market. So,
but that's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying, and I'm only just playing devil's advocate with you here. But understand this too: if you don't like it, you don't have to play in my NCAA.
Oh, don't be that guy.
If you don't like it,
you don't have other. If there were another alternative, because if you want to be a professional football player, you have you have two options.
Right.
You can either go play JUCO or not play at all and wait 3 years after your high school graduating class and try to make it.
That's how you got to do it.
But just because the rules are established, it doesn't mean that you have to play by the rules.
Those are the rules in order. Like I always bring up this analogy. People are saying, "Man, marijuana is legal in our country. They should be able to smoke it in the NFL."
Those aren't the rules. No. It's not federally
legal. The
NFL
says you cannot smoke marijuana and play in the NFL.
Yeah.
Even if you play in the state of Colorado or Washington,
if it were federally legal, then the NFL would have to allow it.
But still, they don't have to. They would say, in order to work for our company, we don't allow this in our company. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I'm just saying it with the NCAA is that, look, this is our company. This is how it goes.
Okay.
And this is how we do it to keep an equal and level playing field. And I think that's the only reason why I always look at the NCAA not as like, people who are out to get the players or they're all about the make. Look, this is the way that it's been set up, and I look at it more for the little dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The non-Power 5. I went to a non-Power 5 school. I went to San Diego State. So you don't have that same money generating. Avenues like some of the bigger schools do.
Now this is true.
I'm only looking at it from our perspective. Now if I went to Alabama, I'm like, look, man, I should be able to get my money.
Exactly.
Sell my jersey.
See now, that is true.
And that's my only thing is that I get that we're gonna look at they brought in $9 billion, but in that $9 billion, how do you operate all of college sports?
Well, hold on. But then there's the money that the schools generate as well.
Right.
So the NCAA just signed an $8.5 billion deal just for March Madness.
Right.
Just for March Madness. The NCAA for the first time generated $1 billion in revenue.
Right.
That's not including the money that the schools generated.
That's what I'm saying. Schools are different. That's what I'm saying. Each school should be different, and that's what I'm saying. If you want to have money for players,
but you have to have some way to. You either have to allow players to trade on their name,
right,
or you have to be able to not pay them as professionals, but you have to be able to have a way that a kid who's putting in 40 hours a week, doesn't have time to have a job, can have a little extra cash in his pocket, or some type of deferred payment, because I believe in putting the money in an annuity. If the conference pulls its money, and then the financial institutions that are managing it, they can get their fees paid and generate some additional money from keeping it in accounts and all that.
Right. But I think that you're on to something, to the fact that we feel like players should be paid, and to a degree, I don't think so. I think that they should be paid after they leave.
Yeah, upon graduation. Oh, man.
I think that you should be able to say, just say that Ohio State, for instance, made $163 million revenue in that year. That 163 should be spread around every athlete who's on a program in that university. And for that year, everyone has to get a check, because football can't get a bigger check than this one. Or this one can't be, and that's where the Title IX and equal rights and everything come in. And that's the equality that we've been preaching in our country.
So the question is, how do you then stop players from getting paid when to go to a school when they hold so much inherent value to the university?
Players get paid from who?
from agents, from boosters, from any of that? How do you stop it or govern it?
I think we're talking about the smallest percent of players. You know what I mean? But it sounds so loud, like, oh, everybody's getting paid. No, it's about 20 to 25 guys who have the potential, but on a larger scale, it's not truly like that.
Paid and extra benefits.
Extra benefits.
Yeah, but there are a lot more players that get extra benefits than actually getting shelled out $25,000, $30,000, $50,000.
I think if we in college, if there's 100 guys on the team, it may be 10 guys out of 100 who get a little bit extra benefits. Whether, you know what I mean, like,
it was
a little money on your book card,
or a free lunch.
Right? Yeah, no, I just think it's not as crazy as people out there think it is.
I would agree that there are fewer players getting hundreds of thousands of dollars than people actually believe. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk for a second real quick about the pressure on these kids, like the high school kids. So my cousin is one of the top high school prospects. He's like one of the top 30 basketball players in the 2019 class.
Right.
And it's funny. So he was out in a tournament out in Thousand Oaks, one of the biggest Nike tournaments.
Okay.
And he was talking to me about the pros and all this, and he was like, it's a lot of pressure because I know that if I don't screw up, I'm going to the NBA, and maybe a one and done.
Right.
So it's like, so I can't even imagine, because I knew I had to go to college. I knew I wanted to go to the pros and all that stuff. But he's sitting there like at 15 years old, he said this. So at 15 years old, you're like, I have this responsibility I want to take care of my entire family at 15 years old.
Right.
Bro, and then when you go to college, look at DeAndre Ayton from Arizona.
Right.
I don't know whether they got $100,000 or not.
Right.
However, how much is he actually worth though? Like, how much would it?
Program?
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's
worth millions.
He's more than that. Yeah. He practically.
He's a dominant force.
Back.
Yeah.
Put the team on his back, and that's honestly where, and I've had this discussion before many a times, is that when you have someone who is able to do things for others, everybody looks at that person and say, how can I make money off of them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a generational thing, I think.
Okay.
Because instead of people coming and figure out how can we support him and help him get to the next level without him having to worry, it's everybody thinking about, we got to get him to the NBA so we can get our tickets, or we can get our money, or he can buy me a house, or he can do this. And people look at the dollar signs and try to get in on that. And how can I, get something out of him rather than letting him just be himself? You get what I'm saying? I forgot how it came about. But I was just thinking about that the other day, and how do you just let him be him? You know what I mean? Why do we always have to? And we joke about LeVar Ball all the time, but LeVar Ball basically helped his kids out to a point where they didn't have to worry about it. They just had to play basketball.
Yeah, and a lot of people knock him because I get that sometimes he says too much, which I totally agree. But you have to applaud a dude who is there for his kids, taking care of his kids, taking a lot of pressure off of. He's added some pressure in terms of the expectations, but these are kids who did well in school. Yeah. They seem like decent human beings.
I got a question for you. Did LeVar Ball, do you think at any point LeVar Ball, someone asked him or said, hey, I want to be your son's agent, or I want to give you this, give you that? How many times do you think LeVar Ball was offered gifts?
A lot.
And he turned it all down.
Yeah, and you have to applaud a dude who's willing to buck the system and bet on himself and do something different, because it's easy to take the normal forged path route, but when you're actually trying to do something great, like anybody who's done anything great out in the world, like they had to take a chance. You look at Steve Jobs, you look at Elon Musk, you look at Mark Zuckerberg, like any of these people, like they took a chance on themselves. Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard. Dropped out of Harvard to start some stupid company, and now he's the 5th richest man in the whole world, $71 billion, and he's like 35, and he's like 31 years old.
But he had to go out on a limb. And I get it. And it's just, to me, no matter what, it comes back to this, that you have to have the knowledge and you have to be able to have people around you that can help you make good decisions.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Too many times we just put too much on a younger player. And it kind of came back to me because we were talking about anthem protests. And someone hit me, was like, so many people in the community see a young player, like maybe your nephew.
Yeah.
Okay? He's 15, 16 years old. Everybody's going to watch him. Okay, now when you go to the NBA, you know what? You got to make sure that if Trump say something, you better tweet back at him.
Yeah, man, you got to stay woke.
You got to stay woke, man. And you're like, I just want to play.
I just want to play ball.
I just want to play ball.
Yeah.
So that's why I think some of the miseducation of what's going on socially and in the world, that we try to put it on our youth because they have a platform now. Hey, use your platform, do it for us.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like,
okay, so going with the staying woke theme, obviously everybody knows what happened with the Eagles. You have Malcolm Jenkins,
right.
Chris Long. They were very active in the protests and also getting players to stop protesting and all that. But now you have the Houston Texans owner who called the players Bob McNair called the players inmates, and whether he, whether he meant it like it sounded or not, it was bad. It sounded really bad.
Right.
And now he's saying his team. Well, the word on the street is that his team is not going to sign any players and free agents who were a part of the protests. I look at that and I'm like, okay, this is business, right? He thinks that this is best either for him personally or for his company, and I look at it as, you are free to do that. However, you have now potentially alienated yourself from big name free agents who weren't even involved, who were like, nah, I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. I'll go to Dallas and take and take that same tax cut and go play for Jerry, or go play in Florida, or go play in Tennessee where I can get the same tax advantages.
Well, I think I can answer that in two questions, or two answers. For one, he has to say that to appease his fan base, to appease the people in Texas, to people like, oh yeah, I only want guys who are for America. So it's kind of a basically appeasing my fan base and my suite holders and my advertisers and the people who come in and support the Texans. Yeah. And now you say that, but we know as NFL players, if the Texans are offering this amount of money, I'm about to go and play. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he says, you know what? I've had a talk with him, and we're going to come to a solution. He knows what's going on. He's got to win games. He's got to do this. So, look, I get why he did it. Am I for it? No, I'm not for not signing players, but we shouldn't get up in arms about it. People like, oh, I would never play for the Texans. No, he's saying that to appease his fan base. Oh, yeah. We know people who work for him who definitely take a stance that he, entrusts in them. So I know personally people who does on their broadcast teams and things like that. Like, he has to say that to keep the fans, and that's where the NFL owners have been scared, is that fans have been upset. And that's where I'm like, okay, so I know that the NFL ratings have dipped, but I attribute them to a bunch of different things. I attribute it to partially that streaming does not count in the ratings. Right. So that automatically and people are cutting the cord. I'm a person who's cutting the cord, getting YouTube TV, Hulu, all of that stuff, which I can watch everything, but for half the price. Right. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking. So yes, that's part of it. Right. And then yes, there are people who are boycotting the league because of the anthem. Yeah. And then but then there's also an element of people who I don't feel like were counted, who I know were protesting the fact that people were protesting, and then they're out too. They're out on the NFL. And I was just like, wow, this is like a deep thing, and everybody thinks that they're right in the situation. And I'm looking at it like, okay, this country was founded on protest. Correct. Like it was protest against England, which actually founded this country. The Civil War was over protest. All of that. It's over protest. So like, this is the American way, and it's not the fact that people are against protest or against politics.
They just don't like the issues right now that are being brought up.
Well, remember, these issues make people uncomfortable. And when they make you all uncomfortable, when you talk about race, when you talk about social injustice, inequality, that makes people uncomfortable. And what makes also people uncomfortable as well, or it turns people off, is that what are they protesting? Oh, that don't involve me.
Yeah.
And they're not engaged.
Yeah, or they're like, they're a rich. It doesn't
it doesn't
bother
matter.
them.
So no matter what, no one wants to look at the root of why people are doing it. They're just saying they're turned off because I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't like the flag. Oh, you don't like this.
Yeah, you don't love our country.
And it's totally different, which has really got the message messed up, really diluted the message. And you mentioned the players, Malcolm Jenkins and Chris Long. Those players have an owner who understands it and gets it. And they went out and formed a coalition to go out and figure out how can we not only help our community, how do we can also go out and figure out how to change what's going on, and where we don't have to protest. Because it wasn't a protest on the flag; it was a protest on how can we clean up what we're doing. And it goes down to all 32 teams individually starting in their community and doing that.
100%.
And that's how it's gonna change, and that's how you won't see the anthem protesting, because it wasn't an anthem protest. It was a protest to keep people aware of social injustice. I love the flag.
Yeah.
So
I love the flag.
I understand what the flag means.
Love my country, all of this
everything.
stuff. But you have to just be willing to recognize that some things are going on that we need to fix.
Right.
But a player to finish out today, a player that's actually been shut up and throw the ball and being criticized a lot is Josh Rosen out of UCLA. Right. I think that he's the most NFL ready quarterback. I think he's got everything. But then they want to. Or he came from privilege, so he doesn't want to, so he can't want to play because he didn't grow up poor. And I'm like, no, the fact that this kid actually has other opportunities and he's like, no, I want to do this. That looks more to me like a player who wants to play. But then they pump up Josh Allen, who I'm on record as saying is going to be a colossal failure unless he goes to a place where he can sit down for a couple years because he's got a big arm. He's got all of this. However, he's not accurate, and he doesn't make good choices. And that does not translate well into football.
Right.
Like that's literally like having a pretty girl. I'm sorry, an ugly girl with an ugly personality. But then you're like, oh man, she got a big butt though.
Right.
It's like that.
Well, you got to think too. I don't believe anybody when it comes to the NFL draft process.
Yeah.
You're always going to get reports. How people they don't like this, they don't like that, or he comes from this, he comes from that. Josh Rosen is a darn good football player, and if I had to draft any of them right now, the first one I'm taking is Josh Rosen.
Not even
because he comes in
question.
Day one, and he can run your offense.
Yeah,
he has the lingo, he has the footwork, he is the most polished. Remember, the NFL draft is more about upside.
Yep.
And everybody's like, well, you're projecting what players can be for you.
Yeah.
And it is not an exact science.
Correct.
And that's why, you see players get traded,
Yeah.
You see players get, lumped into, oh, he's like this guy or he's like that guy. I watched Josh Allen in college. He's got all the tools, but is he mentally ready to handle the NFL? Is he mentally ready to go from Wyoming to big-time college football, big-time NFL football? From Carson Wentz, and he did it.
Oh, okay, so what the difference between Carson Wentz is, Carson Wentz went to North Dakota State.
Right.
And they played against division, they played against they're an FCS team, which played against FBS teams, and he played well.
Right.
Consistently.
Right.
Josh Allen has not played well. He plays in the FBS school.
Right.
Whenever they played any Power 5 schools, he played awful. So like every single time. So I'm just like, how does this translate?
I don't know if he played awful, but if you look at what he had to throw with and you look at what he had to play with.
Oh my God, great quarterbacks make bad receivers look good.
Yeah, but when he had his running back the year before, a guy by the name of Brian Hill, who actually left early, got drafted by the Falcons, no one even heard of him because he didn't really pan out last year as a rookie. But when that guy was out there with Josh Allen, totally different quarterback. Saw him dismantle. The guy's got a rocket for an arm, but when you facing teams like, okay, we got to go out and stop this guy. Carson Wentz was able to look 22, didn't have it, and was taken off and running. Look at Carson Wentz's numbers when able to do that. So I'm saying that we can debate these quarterbacks all day long because I love to. But if I had to take one right now, it's Josh Rosen. And I think teams would understand that, and they get that. But it's always, some people aren't always going to like certain players.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. We've been knowing general managers and players. I don't really like that kid. Then all of a sudden he plays good. Well, I knew he had the potential. Yeah. I just wasn't really all.
I wasn't sold on it.
People will turn coach so fast. It's crazy.
Yep. So, but thank you guys for joining us today. George Reister, Kirk Morrison, ESPN analyst for college football and the NFL, and the original number 52 for the Oakland Raiders. Forget the Khalil Mack kid, whoever he is. He's supposed to be good, but he's no Kirk Morrison. Thank you guys for joining us. Please download the podcast. You can find it on iTunes, TuneIn, whatever it is that you listen to. And please send in your comments, like the feed, and most importantly, share the feed. Unafraid Show. Peace out. We will catch you guys later.